Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the October episode of the Business Lincolnshire live show. My name's Richard Moore. If you've been watching the shows over the past 18 months, you'll know that the shows are here really to engage with Greater Lincolnshire and Rutland businesses, just keep you up to date with what support's available, what programs are available, and really all of that's aimed at helping you grow your businesses. So if you want to engage live with the show during the show, especially if you're on LinkedIn, watching live through the LinkedIn live event, then you can comment in the comments on LinkedIn and you'll be able to come through straight to the show, ask questions, just engage with the show. That's what it's here for. The reason we do these live is so we can engage with you live. We've got a really busy show this week. So we're revisiting really the scale up, the next level scale up program that was launched in June. So we talked about this in the May show, that there was a new scale-up program coming to replace the old one. It's called Next Level, and it really was just stepping up what was offered. So we're really going to revisit that today. We're going to initially hear from Noreen Reid, the scale-up advisor for Business Lincolnshire. She's going to talk a bit about the eligibility. Noreen couldn't join us live today, unfortunately, so we're going to take out the segment from the May show, and Noreen went through thoroughly how you apply and the eligibility process for the program. We're then going to bring in Leon Mundy. He's one of the scale-up coaches, and he's going to talk about the management and the leadership program part of the program. We're then going to have Sean Sankey come in from Much Clearer. Now, Sean runs the growth sprint. So really interesting part of the program is these growth sprint events that we're including in the program. And Sean will explain the idea behind it and also let you know how the first sprint went in September as well. And then finally, we're going to be joined by Amy Ross. She's coming in from Zeller, which is a sustainability program. And everybody who's part of the Next Level program gets a 12-month license. So Amy's going to explain what Zeller's all about and how you can maximize that for your sustainability for the business. Okay, so a busy show. So let's get started. What I'm going to do first of all is bring up the Noreen interview that we had when Noreen was live on the show in May. I'm just going to play that live, so just let me get that set up, and then I'll play this. It's only about 4 minutes long, and in this Noreen goes through the eligibility for the program.
Good afternoon, Richard. I'm fine, thank you. What business show are you going to have?
We are going to have a very busy show. So you've been responsible for Scale Up. Just tell us a little bit about the old Scale Up program, when that started and what the idea was behind that.
The Scale Up program actually started in September 2018. And we were looking at different levels, really, of scale up businesses and what people needed to get to be on a fairly level playing field. So we had a range of scale-up offers available to people from some fantastic providers. We had Human Alchemy, who are well known to Lincoln businesses, the Centre for Management and Business Development, CMBD, the Lincoln International Business School at the uni, Secret Source Marketing, Wingman, and of course Digital Media Edge, who we did watch. Obviously, things have changed quite a lot in the last 2 years. We've had lots thrown at us. And really, what we're looking for with the Next Level provision is to help businesses become more resilient and sustainable for the challenges that we know are going to lie ahead for them.
The world's really changed, hasn't it?
Right.
And so tell us some of the criteria of the new program then. What do people need? I'll just bring up the page, the landing page here. We've set up an expression of interest page here on bit.ly/BL Next Level. And if you go onto that page, you'll be able to see here, and you'll be able to, on the right, that blue box on the right there, if you click the link in there, that will take you through to the expression of interest page. So if your business is interested in this, then certainly click and fill that out, and we'll have a conversation with you about getting a place on the code.
That's right. And what we're looking for, if we look at the very base level for Scale Up, we're looking at businesses with 5 employees who have achieved 250,000 turnover in their last full financial year, and want to scale up their turnover and or profit by 50% in the next 3 years. So quite a high level to reach there. But, you know, we've had a lot of businesses come through. We've now got 228 scale-up clients, and people are seeing this sort of growth. So if you have a business and you fall into that criteria, please go to the page that Richard's got up on the screen and complete your expression of interest on that. Equally, if you don't reach that level, contact us through the businesslincolnshire.com website, and we will have a look at what else we can do for you.
There's been quite a lot of success over the years with these programs, hasn't there? So we've got Streets Heaver, who were a nice success story of yours.
Yeah. Streets Heaver, well known again in Lincoln, fantastic business. If you read their case study, you can find out all about what the plans were and what they've actually achieved. We've got one from Blue Castle, who are in South Kesteven area, fantastic business. And then we've got Burton Waters Marina. So, you know, a quick trot around Lincolnshire, but these businesses have all been kind enough to do case studies to give other businesses a flavour of what their experiences have been. If you go to the Business Lincolnshire website again, businesslincolnshire.com, you will find that there's more case studies there. There's good news stories and all sorts of things on that, but it will give you a flavour of what people who have been through Scale Up have actually encountered.
Fabulous. Well, thank you for your time today, Noreen.
Yes, pleasure.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a good flavour of the eligibility criteria. I'll just recap again what Noreen said. Trading for 2 years, 5+ employees and 250k turnover. But Noreen was very keen to underline that if you don't feel you meet those criteria, still reach out to the team at Business Lincolnshire and make sure that you speak to them about what you're looking for. And there's other support packages as well available. So make sure you reach out to the team and speak to Noreen and the team, and I'm sure they'll find a package for you. Okay, so let's move on now and speak to one of the coaches. Let's bring in Leon. Afternoon, Leon. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very good, mate. And the obviously you work with Neil Lewis and as a scale-up certified coach, and you've been running the management side of the program. Do you want to tell us how cohort 1, 2, and 3 have gone so far?
Yeah, so it's been great. We've had about 25 businesses have gone through the program so far. We've had really great sessions, group sessions, where we've been working through leadership and management excellence, really helping people to identify any weak spots in their management or leadership capability, which we've all got. We can all get a little bit better. And then really taking some practical steps back into their businesses. So really, really strong feedback. We run a net promoter score at the end of every session. We're getting an average of 9.5, which is really fantastic. And what we've seen is that businesses have really adopted the learnings and taken them back straight away, and we're getting feedback through the one-to-one sessions that we're having that, you know, there's some real impact from the session learnings and also from the one-to-ones.
Yeah. So the next cohort's cohort 4. That's next month, is it? In November?
Yeah. So a cohort in November.
Yeah.
Coming up. All of the cohorts are run from Belton Woods Hotel near Grantham, so fairly central in the region. We've got other cohorts that start in from January as well. So there are still opportunities and spaces for people to join the November cohort. We'll essentially get the 2 workshops in pre-Christmas. We may even get some of the one-to-ones in before Christmas as well, just depending on availabilities of participants.
Perfect. And then there's another cohort 5 after Christmas as well. Is that right? January?
Yeah. So that will start early Jan. So again, if people people feel it's too close to Christmas, there's an option after Christmas, or if you just really want to get going and get started, we've got spaces this side of Christmas as well. The duration is essentially 2 full-day workshops, which are in person. So they're 2 separate days, a couple of weeks apart, and then we follow up with the one-to-one sessions. And that will be the same whether it's pre or post Christmas. So that's roughly the sort of pace that we go at.
Excellent. And they're being hosted now at Belton Woods Hotel, is that right, in Grantham?
Yeah, it's a nice venue, sort of central for most, being that it's sort of around Grantham Way. Very well paid, provided for and catered and all that sort of stuff. So really, as an individual, all you've got to do is get yourself there, turn up, show up, and enjoy the day and the content. There's nothing more to it than that. So I think it's a really, really great that the program is fully funded. I think that takes a real burden away from people. It's just about coming along and making the most of the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the link at the bottom of the screen there, as we talked about with Noreen in the last show, is still the same. So bit.ly/links next level will take you through to the expression of interest page. Just click on one of the links there and you can fill your details in and get enrolled in the program. So just tell us a little bit more about the 2 leadership and management workshops that you mentioned there. Some people won't have seen the May show, so let's do a quick recap on what to expect.
Yeah, sure. So the program is going to cover leadership, excellence and management, communications and teams. So the first workshop is really focused on looking at how you act as an individual leader. So what your style is, where any gaps are. Like I said, we've all got them. We could all improve all the time. Giving some practical tools and things to think about, giving you I think probably the biggest advantage of the program is giving you a chance to stop and think about the business. Everyone's so caught up in doing the day-to-day, they don't often get time to stop and think and do some planning. And I think this is really, really important, particularly if you're running a business or leading a team, is that you have the time to think about your own leadership style, where you can improve. So we'll focus on that in the first section, or the first day, along with communication excellence, how you communicate super well with your team, and again, any blind spots you might have about your own communication. Second day, which is 2 weeks after the first session, is focused on management and team. So we'll look at tips around management excellence. We'll look at loads of examples from other businesses, how it's done really, really well, how excellent businesses manage, and really looking at how you coach your team rather than necessarily managing a team. We'll also look at how you build a high-performing team. So, we talk about the business can only be as big as the leadership grows. So we're going to help grow you as leaders, but then also help you to grow a team of leaders that report to you that can really help, make that business work independently of you and really speed up its growth. So we cover those topics in those 2 days.
Fabulous. And they get workbooks, don't they? I'm just going to add this to the stream, actually, because I know you sent me some slides here. So these are the workbooks that people take away. What's the purpose behind the workbook? How do they work, these action plans?
So these gone down really, really well. We have one for each of the 4 topics, and essentially it's a chance in the session to kind of note down your thoughts and thinking, but then there are also some tools in there that you can take back and use in the business. So it's kind of a mixture of kind of a thinking space and then a doing space in terms of what actions you're going to take back and share with your team. Again, covering the 4 topics. So your own leadership, your communication, where you could improve, your management style, and then your way of building and recruiting a high-performing team. So really, again, it's a nice practical takeaway from the session.
Okay. And then they also get some tools, don't they, during this? So they get disc profiling, things like that. How's that been going down with the initial cohorts?
Yeah, again, it's gone down very well. The disc personality profile, it's essentially a behavioral trait assessment. It gives everyone that attends an opportunity to have themselves and 4 other people in their business go through the assessment. It gives you a sense of what your individual style is, your behavioral preferences when it comes to communicating with others and being communicated with. And I think the whole thing about this is that being self-aware about the way you come across and communicate is super important and really helpful to then think about how you might need to adapt or tweak your style to deal with other people in your team or with customers or clients, just to give you the best opportunity to come across and communicate in a really, really concise way. So like I say, 5 licenses in total, 1 for the person that attends the workshop, and then 4 more to take back and use with your senior team. We do a debrief with the whole senior team where they get to see their own reports and see how they compare with one another. Again, loads of value in that. Sharing this stuff amongst the leadership team is really, really valuable. It usually gets a bit of a laugh as well, because it pulls out some of the stuff that we know about ourselves, but we don't necessarily kind of talk about. So, again, in terms of like a bonding thing, it's a really, really helpful tool.
Yeah, amazing. And then the final part was just going through how the actual session, how the whole program works. Can you just run through that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So it's a bit busy, this slide, but if you just look at the kind of headings in each of the 6 boxes, the 2-day workshop, which I've described, is the kind of kickoff. That's followed by one-to-one coaching. So 2 one-to-one coaching sessions with Stuart and myself, about 1.5 hours long each. They're done virtually over Zoom, so there's no travel time required. And that's a chance to either build on the learnings from the workshops or to talk about something completely separate that just is about you and your business. So it's very specific to the individual. It's completely confidential. And it gives people an opportunity to just talk about things they perhaps don't have an opportunity to talk about with other people in or around their business. We'll lend any kind of insight that we can based on our knowledge of working with hundreds of businesses and the whole kind of scaling up process. Disc assessment, as I said, everyone's got that available to them, 5 licenses. Growth sprint, which Sean's going to talk us through, really great opportunity to come together with a couple of other members from your team, again in a face-to-face setting, and I'll let Sean explain that. Free Zeller license. So again, Amy will talk about this one, but everyone gets an annual license to Zeller, which is a really excellent carbon benchmarking tool. And then a nice thing at the end, really, we'll bring together an alumni program. So we run monthly workshops, which are online, so webinars like this. Everyone that goes through the program can join those. They get a chance to kind of do some more ongoing learning, and then we'll have a sort of in-person event where we'll bring together all of the participants from this year. It'll probably be end of Q1 next year that we do that, but a really good networking opportunity. If you think we'll put sort of 50 or so high growth businesses from the region through this program this year, and we'll bring everybody hopefully together in that room. So a really nice opportunity to network with a pretty unique bunch of business owners and business leaders from the region.
Fabulous. And what are the outcomes you've seen so far? Let's talk about them before we finish. What are some of the outcomes you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen one of the best things is that we see people kind of expanding their network. So they're working with other people. They're seeing that they're not on their own. I think that's one of the best things you get from this is, when you're running a business, you can feel it can be a really lonely place. Everything's on your shoulders, and you feel like you've got to have all of the answers. This gives people a chance to network with other people in that situation, which is great because it gives them a sense of not being on their own, hopefully having networks that they can take outside of the program as well. But then just that kind of practical application of all the stuff coming back into the businesses. So we've seen businesses that have had really tough times because of the environment and everything that's happening, and helping them through that in terms of, new things to think about, how to protect cash, how to have the right team, how to make sure that you can give yourself the best possible opportunity to thrive through difficult times. And then also, on the positive side, where businesses are seeing exponential growth, just giving them the capability to deal with that and feel like they've got control again. A lot of the times when businesses are in that stage, they feel like they lose control over how it's going. This gives people a chance to really have some rigor and some process that says, okay, I can cope with this now and I can manage it, and help the team to manage it as well. Because as a leader, I'm growing ahead of the business, ahead of the team, because that's really, ultimately leaders need to do that. They need to grow ahead of their competitive set, et cetera, et cetera. So we've seen really good examples of that, businesses that have really taken hold of it and got some great results at the back of it.
Amazing. So looking forward to the next cohort then next month. Again, the link's down on the screen here, bit.ly/links next level. Get your expression of interest in, and you will meet Leon face to face. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Leon. And I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
All the best. Cheers.
Bye. Right, so let's move on to meet Sean. Sean's the owner of Much Clearer, has been running the growth sprints as part of the program. So we'll bring Sean into the show. Good afternoon, Sean. How are you?
No, then I'm all right. You okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah, that's perfect.
Excellent.
Can you hear us? Yeah, everything's okay.
All good. All good.
Awesome. Amazing. So just we've had one of the sprints have we had so far in September. Is that right, Sean?
We did. Crackens A in central Lincoln.
So everything went well with that. So do you want to just recap a little bit on the concept behind the sprints and how they work?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think you've got a few slides for me, so maybe if we chuck the visuals up, that'd be awesome.
I will bring those up for you. Yep, you just keep me
Nice.
moving through the slides as you talk through them.
Thank you, buddy. So yeah, I think on slide 2, you'll see a smiley Canadian called Jake Knapp. So the sprint as it exists at the minute, it's a term that's used in a lot of different contexts. So if any of you of the audience work in technology, you'll have heard of agile sprints or different types of sprints. What Jake did at Google back in the late noughties is invent something called a design sprint. And what a design sprint is Google were asking themselves the question back in the late noughties, how can we release products faster? You know, if you think about it, this is the best funded, most aggressive technology company in the world. And they were saying, we're too slow in making things happen and get stuff out to market. So they asked themselves that question, and Jake and his colleagues, Jake was on the team that was actually building Gmail and Google Meet and different products inside Google. They came up with this workshop process to say, right, how can we compress 6 months of a software development like kind of project into days? And he came up with this thing called the design sprint. So that's being used now, and like he wrote a book on it, and it's being published and used in lots and lots of different settings. What the growth sprint is it takes a lot of ideas and exercises from the sprint, and it applies it to growth, because you don't have to just look at it through the lens of how can we release software faster. And yeah, the one you just scrolled past, I was lucky enough to go out to Google because, believe it or not, they, with a straight face, they call themselves Googlers. Did you know that, Richard?
No, I didn't.
If you work at Google, you are a Googler. I kid you not.
A Googler,
and,
okay.
And Googlers invite external facilitators in, like myself and like other colleagues. There's a company I work with called AJ Smart in Berlin. People that use sprints a lot. Google will actually get external people in from the market to train people at Google how sprints work and how they're functioning out in the wild. So anyway, the growth sprint is an adaptation of design sprints, these workshop techniques that Google and lots of big players use around the world to speed things up, whether that's software design, whether that's marketing, or whether in our case, that's growth. That's the background to where the sprints came from.
Right, cool. And then you've adapted that into a more of a business format to help business owners, I take it.
We have, yeah. So since 2018, I think, we've probably done about, I think 9 or 10 cycles of iterating this approach of taking these workshop techniques and taking small to medium businesses through an intervention, normally a day or 2 days, to help them rethink growth. And we call that a growth sprint. Mm-hmm. So I think we actually paid a bit of money to get a video done from the last one. So is it worth showing folk what it's like? And then I'll talk about
let me just move across to the video. Let's see if I can get there. That's it. Right, let's play this just as it is there.
Beautiful thing.
The Growth Sprint is part of our Next Level Scale Up program, which is all about supporting our high growth businesses and giving them the tools and knowledge and information to help them continue to grow and support the local economy.
It's about getting you as a team really aligned about what growth looks like, what the priorities need to be, and what the sacrifices are that you need to take to get there.
The small experiments, you can make sure you're on the right path. So these huge problems that might seem overwhelming can be broken down, and actually step by step you can get towards what you need to.
As with a lot of training, I think it's about what you implement when you get back to the office, but seeing the models that we've been taught today and what's being delivered has been significantly thought-provoking and has definitely given us food for thought to take back to work.
Having the space and time away from the office with the rest of the team, and I think being able to work together to identify what are the key opportunities for growth of our business, and critically thinking of those ideas, solutions, and prioritising them. It's a really relaxing, quite chilled out vibe, and very comfortable for sharing ideas. There's loads of time to meet and network with other people and share learnings across the groups.
It's really pulling you into the clarity of cutting away things that are going to distract you from attacking the most important growth levers.
If growth is on the agenda, this has definitely been something to help unlock and enable some thought-provoking ideas to take forwards to enable that.
It's 1 day out of the office and it's really valuable, so don't think too much.
I love that wedding shot at the end, the one with the video says, everyone go away. Like,
proper wedding shot, yeah. So that really captured what people go through during their the growth sprints.
Indeed.
And what do you think people can expect when they're going through the next level program when they go there? Because it's not just about them; it's about involving their team as well. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So I say this is tested and we've iterated it as we've gone. So I think on the next slide it talks about there's like 8 cycles that we've been through. There you go. So we've done this quite a while and iterated every time. What we find works is when you get a couple of the senior team in a room like this, but with other businesses in the mix, right? So at the one we did in September, I think there were 6 or 7 businesses there with 3 people per business. And we run each team through this suite of exercises, but in between them often we're pairing businesses up to kind of pool ideas, share experiences, swap notes on how they're finding the process, and also swap what they've learned about attacking the topics that are coming up in the conversation. So what businesses can expect is to go through a process that's been tested and is really dynamic. Like, it's not your standard rock up and listen for 8 hours. It's not what people typically think of as like a conference or some kind of seminar. Really, this is about you and your team moving through this process with other businesses, thinking about the things, like I said in the video, that really matter most to you, and what you as a team need to do to really focus in on cutting away some of the distractions that are stopping you from growing.
Fabulous. Right. And then well, you said there it's not just a seminar, it's a real workshop. So you take people through different exercises. Can you explain a few of the exercises you're going to?
Sure. Well, probably the most important thing is what you end up with. So sometimes people come along and they're expecting like a big grand strategy or like, a lovely roadmap that, either gets stuck on the wall and is never looked at or sits in an electronic drawer and is never opened, right? That's not what this does. What the most important exercise is, what all the exercises build up to, is the last one where you as a team build a suite of what's called growth experiments. So a growth experiment is something very specific. We've got a theory as a team about something we want to test in the market. And this is where Next Level is such a lovely rounded program, right? Because everything that Leon was saying is, it's helping you as a team think about leadership and what's the culture and the behaviors and the insights that we need to operate with as a team. Zella's coming at it from the sustainability bit. What the sprint does is it adds that dimension of what can we test in the marketplace to spark growth in the next few months, right?
Yep.
So the whole program is helping you think about growth from different angles. And this final exercise of the growth experiment is going, right, what are some very specific theories where you could test them quickly and cheaply in the next couple of months to drive some learning or kind of spark some results? And what's brilliant is, like, I say, because we've done this like 9 or 10 times now, like we've got a whole bank of these are the kind of experiments that, in inverted commas, work. Because we often say, like, success is accomplishment, like not growth itself. Because if you accomplish the experiment, even if it fails, if you disprove the theory that you think you had, you've learned that quickly and cheaply. Right?
Yeah.
So it's worth driving that activity and that experimental approach to growth, even if you don't see the results you want, because you can then course correct and twist and turn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's the most important exercise, is it filters into, let's build some experiments to start to build the habit of rapid, iterative, learning-driven growth. That's what it lands on.
Lovely. And shall I move the slides on here then as you go through here? Just got some feedback again.
I mean, they're the braggy ones. Yes, of course, people have lovely compliments and they all enjoy it. You can skip past these ones.
Okay.
But I mean, they're just to give folk reassurance that when you come to a sprint, it's not just something that's fallen out of somebody's head. Like, like there's been a lot of businesses that have gone through this and have helped us iterate it. And even where it's need to get tweaked, like I've never had, out of maybe 120 businesses that have come through, I've never had one come through and say that was a complete waste of time. And the reason for that, I think, is that there's these 4 things on this slide which are worth talking about. If you were to say, why turn up? Why should I take myself and 2 of my colleagues out of the business for a full day to come to a thing that I don't know much about. Why would I do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we make these 4, I guess, promises, if you like, these 4, call them chunks of value. What people say that they come away with consistently is the process, number 1, like it says on the screen. Number 1, you get aligned as a team on the priorities and the barriers and the sacrifices. We had people at the one in September that were saying, this is actually the first time we've been together in person.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the first time we've been together for more than 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And so the chance to come away and be led through a process where you have a day to really align on, okay, what's holding us back and what do we need to knock down in order to grow? That's an enormous chunk of value that people leave with. You get the growth experiments that I've talked about. That's chunk of value number 2. You get time with experts that can help. So what happens at the sprint is you're paired up with a growth advisor, either from the hub or from a partner organization. And so imagine getting a day for free of an expert's time to work with you in these exercises, contributing to all of the challenges that you're facing. Like, that's an enormous part of value in and of itself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then number 4 is, a lot of people, we give you all the slides, we give everyone the tools and the techniques that they can then run back at the office. And we say, look, a big part of the value of this is you just learn how to do it for yourself. You don't need Sean or Rebecca or David or any other facilitator to come along and facilitate you through your next sprint, because the businesses that do this best are the ones that repeat the process every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. So they can take that away and just keep repeating it.
Take that away, keep repeating it, keep driving new experiments, keep driving like new results and learnings in the market.
So from what you're saying, a lot of it gives clarity to businesses by the sound of it. Aligning your team, things like that is just giving this real clarity for what they're doing.
100%. And there's even I do a little skit about what stops people from getting clear, right? It's often a question that we don't think about, right? Everyone loves clarity, but everyone says, oh, I'd love more. Yeah. Why is that, right? If everybody loves it and everyone wants it, why do we need more of it? Right? Because there's these things that stop us from getting clear, right?
Yeah.
And I won't do the full skit here, but one of the main things that I think the growth sprint enables is to deal with one of the costs of clarity, which is conflict. Because in order to get clear, in essence, what you're doing is you're drawing a line, aren't you? You're saying, we're going to clearly do this, not that. We're going to invest in that offer, not that thing. We're going to go for this territory, not that territory.
Yeah.
Now, the problem for leaders when they draw a line is the minute they do that, somebody comes along and says, well, how dare you? Because I wouldn't have put the line there. I would have put it here.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you've drawn that line means that this thing that I've invested in for ages, you're now saying we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So often people avoid the clarity because they just don't want the conflict.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what happens through the growth sprint is we try to facilitate folk through in a really healthy, safe way, using all the exercises. What are the conversations you've been avoiding, but you really need to have?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a big thing that we find people give us feedback on, that, gosh, the sprint was really helpful in unlocking those things that we were just muddy and ambiguous about.
Yeah.
Perfect. Tell me if I'm chatting too much, by the way. Move me on.
Right, shall we move on through the slides? Yeah. So again, conversations matter, making the most. That was what I was going to say. What do you feel people need to make the most from a growth sprint?
No, 100%. Okay, so and to be fair, the businesses that came in September were all brilliant in this. So it's not, like I said earlier, the kind of conference that you can just say, oh, well, I'll just rock up for the afternoon session, or I need to dip in and out because I've got some calls. It is a full day in-person experience, which builds from the minute we start at 9:30 all the way to 4:30. Yeah. So if you come, you need to come for the entire day and make sure that you've got your diary clear. Yeah. You must bring 3 people, not 1, not 6, it's 3. And the specific reasons for that, which become clear in the room. But the main thing is that, you can't bounce off each other in exercises if you're just one person. And we don't have space for you to bring more than 3, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to bring 3 from your team. You must not drop out last minute, right? So, although this feels free to the businesses, it's not free to put on. This is an expensive kind of thing that is fully funded by the Growth Hub. So if people drop out, they're kind of occupying the place that could have been taken by another company. And really, it's just about a willingness to try something new. A lot of companies that come through this haven't worked in this kind of way before. So it's about bringing a bit of an open mind to get the most out of the process.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, let's finish off there then, Sean. So your next one is scheduled for mid-January, is that right? For the
January
next
the 18th, I
cohorts?
believe. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so let's just again touch on the link for expression of interest. Just click on that link, head over there, and put your business details in to get involved. See what Leon's spoken about, what Sean's spoken about, and also what Amy's going to speak about in the next session as well. Right, Sean, have you got any last gem that you want to leave anyone watching the show with?
I think if I would, I would just, it's about growing like experimentally. Often people think that growth comes from a massive investment or a big, bold move. What we found is that small things where you're testing ideas can lead to really big results. Whether it's, let's test launching this brand new product in the market, or let's test a different channel for driving sales. Figuring out how to do that in a cheap and fast way can yield you bigger and better results than you often think.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sean, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye now. Right, so you've heard about the management part of the program. We've heard about the growth sprints now from Sean. Let's move on to Zella and bring in Amy from Zella. Afternoon, Amy. How are you?
Hi, Richard. Yeah, very well, thanks. You?
So you're a project manager with Zella. It's a sustainability platform. Do you just want to explain a little bit to people watching what Zella is and what the benefits to SMEs are of having Zella?
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to pull up those couple of slides?
I can. Let me just get that playing.
Thank you. So Zella is a sustainability platform that supports particularly SMEs to become sustainable. So as a bit of background, the climate is changing faster than ever before. We know that. Bit of a shout out if anyone saw Frozen Planet on Sunday. There was some kind of tugging of heartstrings there that the evidence is undeniable. There's a lot that we need to do as a society, and business is a huge part of that. So everyone has a part to play, and actually, really interestingly, small businesses have they make up half of total greenhouse gas emissions from UK businesses. So although we kind of feel like the big ones are what we need to go after, small businesses are a key part. Mm-hmm. But less than 10% of those businesses actually know what to do or are taking any action at all. So there's a real disconnect between knowing what's important and having actions to take. Mm-hmm. So climate change is clearly not being addressed, but also businesses are really missing out on a big opportunity here, because actually it makes real business sense to be sustainable, and particularly with rising energy prices, there's a lot we can do around kind of reducing your energy costs and stuff. So there's a huge opportunity here. Do you want to flick on to the next slide?
Yeah. So this is your mission, is it?
Yeah. Excuse me. So Zella makes going green simple, actionable, and affordable for small and medium-sized businesses. So we're just trying to bring kind of everything into one place, make it really easy, and kind of combat that misconception that sustainability needs to be difficult and expensive. So if you move on to the next one, this is about Zella. So I'll kind of run you through each point. So it brings Zella as a platform. It's an online platform, subscription-based. It brings everything into one place that a business might need to become sustainable. So all the tools, it works anywhere, any business, any city. It's kind of a one-stop shop. It's also tailored to a business sector. So dependent on what industry you're in, you'll see a slightly different version of the platform. And we're really keen on local. So we're trying to encourage people to take actions in their area, in their regions, to kind of keep that, instead of kind of planting trees in the Amazon, which is easy to pay some money and forget about it, is try and focus on that, the local action, climate action that businesses can take. So that's a really important one as well. And as I mentioned, it kind of brings all the tools into one place that you might need. So those tools are around kind of green energy, so switching your energy tariff to a green energy supply, green technology, which is things like LED lighting, solar panels. We've got a volunteering marketplace in there as well. Just marketplace is probably the wrong word for that, but it's a place to find volunteering opportunities that you can do with your business. So that's corporate volunteering, carbon offsetting, which I'll touch on in a second, biodiversity, which is kind of really focusing on investing in biodiversity in your regions as well. So the principle of Zella is really to, first of all, calculate your emissions and understand what current situation you're in, then take actions to reduce those emissions, and keep tracking that in that kind of circle, and then address any remaining emissions that are left over. So we recognise that most businesses will have something left over once they've taken actions to reduce the emissions that they've got, and that's where that kind of offsetting and the biodiversity comes into play. The other thing that's really helpful for businesses is that data. So understanding where you are as a business, but also being able to compare that to other businesses in your region, in your sector, so that you can kind of benchmark yourself against those. And Zella and all the actions that you take is wrapped up into one score. So by taking actions, first of all, by calculating your emissions, and then by taking actions to make your business more sustainable, you'll improve your Zella score. And that's something that you can share with your network, with your stakeholders, your customers, and really prove that you're on that journey, and recognizing that not everyone's perfect, but kind of the more actions that you take, the more you're on your way to a sustainable business.
Yeah, so you can demonstrate how sustainable you're being and the actions you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big part for a lot of businesses, is not only feeling like they're doing the right thing, but also being able to share that with their stakeholders and with their network, because we recognize that that's a kind of, especially at the moment, more and more supply chains and customers are asking for your sustainability credentials. So by kind of working with Zella on your sustainability journey, we can provide all of that for you, which is really helpful. And then just one other bit that I wanted to mention on here, which I think is a really nice feature of the platform, is community. So that's a kind of a community hub on the platform, which is a bit more interactive. So that's where you can see what other businesses are doing. You can share tips and tricks with others in your sector, and learn from them. And you can also find kind of tools and guides and templates that you can download to support your business. So again, recognizing there's a world of information out there, but it's very confusing to find actually what's applicable. We're just bringing everything into one place to really help people understand what's out there that can support them.
Brilliant. I love it. Okay. And the people on the next level attendees, they get a 12-month license. Is that right?
Yeah, they do. So Business Lincolnshire is really leading the way on this. So they've bought a big chunk of licenses. So the licenses that they bought are for 12 months. They're worth about £400, so really, really worth having. And yeah, any businesses on that scale up program are eligible for a Zella license.
Brilliant. And then I think you also said that people can also have a free demo. So even if they haven't got a license yet, you can take them through a free demo of Zella and how it works.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So there's a demo. People can book onto a demo on the link that you're sharing. And we also offer free trials. So you can try the product for a period of time and see that it suits for you. And you can find out for yourself the value that it might bring to your business in terms of kind of increased profitability by reducing your energy usage, but also around that kind of being able to share your journey with your network.
Incredible. Okay, thank you very much. Is there anything else, Amy, you want to share with people before you head off?
No, I guess it's just really trying to combat that kind of misinformation and the misunderstanding that many people have, that sustainability is expensive and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And that's what we've kind of brought Zella in to solve. But that's very much not the case, particularly in the current climate with energy prices. You know, being sustainable is actually good business. And it makes good business sense. And it doesn't have to take you a long time, and it doesn't have to be a lot of effort. It's kind of, we're aiming for that kind of 15 minutes to an hour a month, which is not a lot. Everybody can find 15 minutes a month, but the benefits to your business in doing that could be huge.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Amy, for your time today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Richard.
Take care. Okay, so hopefully that's given you plenty of information about the Next Level program. The new cohort obviously is next month, so make sure you head over to Business Lincolnshire and get your expression of interest in for that. There's also the one in January that Leon spoke about as well. So there's 2 more cohorts. Everything we've spoken about in the show today, you will qualify for if you get onto the program. So really well worth expression of interest, talking to Noreen and the team, as we discussed at the beginning. And as far as the next live show goes, we've got a show coming up on the 22nd of November. We've got a couple of topics that we're going to be covering. So keep an eye on the LinkedIn page for Business Lincolnshire on your emails as well. We'll be sending out notifications of what the next show is going to be all about. And hopefully that's been really useful today. All right, take care, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now.